Welcome to our humble production of how to better connect with your electorate and constituents.
So you've been elected as a representative, whether it be the House or the Senate, which is no small feat.
But now, the struggle isn't creating or revising laws for our government. I mean, who has time to legislate?
You don't have time for that. What you need to focus on is, drumroll please,
how to get reelected.
So just for you, Congressman, we've itemized a 3-point list on how you can better persuade your constituents.
The first point on our list is advertising. Roll film.
I'm Robin D. Banks. There's nothing like a vague candidate who doesn't take a concrete stance on most issues, and I can be that candidate for you. I promise to advocate for whatever issues you're passionate about, because, you keep me in office. I will legalize your drugs, protect the unborn, ally with pro-choice advocates, and crack down on substance abuse. And most importantly, I promise to overload your mailbox with franking brochures several months before, during, and after any and all elections, because you paid for it after all. So vote for me, Robin D. Banks, the representative who stands for you. Whatever you are, literally whatever you want. Just vote. I am Representative Robin D. Banks, and I approve this message, unless you disagree with it.
Well, there you have it, Congressman. And maybe just with a little bit more work, you too can be advertising just as well as Representative Robin D. Banks.
One thing to consider is that you're not just a congressman now. You're a businessman trying to sell your popularity better than those challenging your incumbency.
You not only need to articulate your plan, you also need to advertise your good qualities, such as your experience, your efficiency, your responsiveness,
Knowledge.
sincerity, concern, and most importantly of all, your dashing charisma.
Only about half of your electorate is going to be able to name their representatives and senators, so all you gotta do is give them a name and a face that they remember so well, they even dream about it.
But lucky for you, your incumbency gives you a myriad of resources that you have access to, such as non-political speeches, TV commercials, and brochures.
Best part is that most of your advertising is done at the expense of others. You know what I'm talking about?
Fracking.
Franking.
Close enough.
Hey, just know that there are some differences between how senators and representatives spread their names. For example, representatives can flood those mailboxes with gloriously franked brochures. Senators cannot flood them.
Senators do have a better shot about appearing on television, whether either be voluntarily giving a speech or just because they noticed that an ill-timed photo of themselves is plastered above the headline, "Breaking News."
I mean, just do what Senator Joe Manchin's doing right now. Pitch a fit about legislation, go against crucial partisan voting, and voila, you're a vital member of Congress who can either stop or start a piece of legislation.
So bottom line, just remember that advertising is all about making sure voters remember you in the most optimal light possible. Now, onward to our second point, credit claiming.
Roll film.
I am pleased to report that I successfully ensured the passage of the Rights for Orphan Prairie Dogs Act, which ensured that American citizens are prohibited from farting on public transportation within 2 miles of a prairie dog burrow. Can you please state your name for the record?
Hi, I'm Hope Escon. I'm the second legislative intern for Speaker of the House Banks. I was actually the one who gave him the idea for the act, but, I'm just an intern.
This act will be enforced by placing top-ranking FBI and CIA agents undercover in traditional Lederhoses and stationing them on every bus, subway, taxi, airplane, steamboat, and hot dog cart within a 2-mile radius of any and all prairie dog burrows.
Speaker Banks, do you think this act efficiently benefits your constituents?
Oh yeah, my neighbors back in Rhode Island will benefit immensely now that their prairie dogs are being protected.
Speaker Banks, how do you think Homeland Security will fare now that our best agents are being preoccupied by less exciting assignments?
I think our Homeland Security will be A-okay. I mean, Afghanistan is a little busy ironing out their government. Saudi Arabia is busy creating an oil monopoly, and I haven't seen anything in the news about serial killers since COVID-19 became the #1 serial killer.
Speaker Banks advised against it, but Banks won't take credit for that.
In conclusion, I believe this act benefits everyone. Environmentalists see their prairie dogs receive respect, and Second Amendment advocates See federal agents using an unnecessary amount of force on foreign tourists. Where I come from, that's called bipartisan cooperation. As you just saw, Congressman, credit claiming's one purpose is to generate the belief in your constituents that you and other political officials were solely responsible for any governmental action your constituents desire.
And when constituents believe in you, they vote for you. Easy. And even if you didn't play a significant role in governmental action, exaggerate it. Your constituents don't care how much you did, just that you did something.
You need to engage with it, flaunt it, repeat it.
Now, Congressman, you're not just a businessman, you're a musician too. You need to play Congress like you play the French horn.
One staple of credit claiming is particularized benefits. It has two parts. The first is you give a benefit to a specific entity. It can be a single person, a group, or even a geographic area. All has to be small enough to where a single congressman can take substantial credit for the benefit.
And two, the benefit must be allocated on a specific purpose, with you, the congressman, having an obvious hand on the benefit, such as pork barreling.
These benefits do not even have to require legislative action. In fact, they can be favors from congressmen.
However, many of these benefits do require new legislation, or they at least require the congressman to follow pre-existing legislation. Yet, this points back to the congressman's original job of representing and improving the lives of their constituents.
Alrighty, time to move on to our third point, position taking.
Roll film.
This is Kevin. Kevin indulges in a particular genre of music, but the government is trying to regulate this music in ways that explicitly violate Kevin's First Amendment rights. This makes Kevin sad.
Hello, I'm Representative Robin D. Banks, and we can't let our youth, like Kevin here, watch as their artistic expressions are being condemned.
What? Who are you?
Our youth are our future. They possess talent and knowledge necessary to bring about change for our great nation. My boy, what do you want to do to improve our future?
You know, I think everybody should have to take a heavy metal appreciation class for their whole lives, you know, like forever.
Excellent idea. You see here, folks, our youth are filled with knowledge and creativity. We must feed them this wonderful knowledge.
Yeah.
I am Representative Robin D. Banks, and I approve this message.
Once again, Congressman, we've seen Representative Robin D. Banks in action. This time, he's expressing his position on particular issues.
A congressman's stance should be direct and understandable, but this isn't always the case. 2, judgments have traditionally been implicit rather than explicit, but as we saw with Representative Banks, this isn't always the case either.
Just a side note, the most notable types of judgmental statements are those that are either expressing American governmental means, like giving free college, or ends, like fixing the student loan debt crisis.
Which brings me to my next point. Congressmen should stick to their original stances. However, congressmen may change said stances if such changes benefit congressional campaigns.
When you're posed with unfamiliar issues, your best shot is to be conservative. Act like you've always acted before. However, if you're in a bit of a bind and you may be losing an election, you may take a gamble and discover you should take a stance different than your usual one.
Ultimately, position taking, unlike credit claiming, is about saying, not doing. It's not about making things happen, but making pleasing statements. However, position taking, like credit claiming, is hard to measure. But this doesn't stop congressmen from orchestrating. Oh my God, speeches, TV appearances, newsletters, press releases, books, articles, interviews with political scientists, and much, much more. And it shouldn't stop you.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning, Congressman.
We hope that our foundational points will reinforce a lifetime of career politics and bring prosperity to you and, well, you.